Hola, hello, welcome and welcome back. I am EJ, the owner and creator behind Ejs Creationz. I have an online store and I do in-person markets. So let's just get into it. So I actually have been recording, I just haven't been uploading, and it's only because, I don't know, I just kind of been in a funk and I felt like the video was really short and the energy wasn't vibing and all those things that make a video, make you want to watch the video. But let's just get into it. So I have not crocheted anything for the business because I just kind of been in a funk, been lost motivation, you know, with not having sales and not being able to buy new material to make new things. And, you know, let's just talk about my best friend, Joanne. You know, she's closing her doors. She is not welcoming anybody anymore. She's done with, and that's pretty sad. And it's all over the internet, and it's more depressing, right? Because you don't want to hear all the negativity that's already out in the world, especially in our White House. You know, my channel doesn't really get into politics or anything like that, but we have clowns for a president. We have a clown, and you know, if you like him, I'm sorry, but I don't. I never have, even before he became president. I just, something about him rubs me the wrong way. The way he looks, the way he sounds, just everything about him, like his energy, it's just not there. So let's get past that because I don't want to talk about that. That's negative and what he's doing to our economy. Yeah, I want to move out of this country, let's put it that way, and if I could, I would in a heartbeat. But all right, let's just get past that. I'm done venting for the moment. I think all of those things have really put me in a mood. It's put me in a mood, and I'm not gonna lie about it because it affects my ability to produce these items and be creative. So I thought, well, let me just go ahead and try to make something for myself, and I started. Here it is. It's the bottom part of a sweater. And I put it away because I was just like not motivated to complete this project. So then I was like, well, you know what? Maybe I don't really want that sweater, right? Maybe I don't want to do that sweater. Maybe I want to do something different. So I started on a top. This is as far as I got. And then I was like, I really like that top and I really want to make it, but the inspiration isn't there. When the inspiration and the motivation isn't there, you kind of don't want to do anything, right? You really don't. And then so I was like, well, you know, I have my little cart here, my little roll cart, because I just kind of put my stuff on there so as I'm working on it. So then I was like, well, let me go ahead and let me make some clothes, right? Let me go and sew some clothes. Maybe that'll get me into the mood. I tried to make, so I made my little cards for my tag cards that look like this for the products, and then I made bookmarks, and then I didn't even finish them. Like, that's how unmotivated I am, that I have a lot of unfinished projects. And I need to just get to it, right? I need to get to it because today is, what is today anyway? It is March 14th. And my big show is March 29th and 30. So I need to get going if I want to get these things sold. So I was like, well, let me make some tops, right? I'm trying to bring different things to my website because I want to be more handmade. And I think the other thing that kind of put me in a funk is that I got waitlisted for two craft shows that I really wanted to do, and I got waitlisted. And then my hair is just being funky, and it's staticky, and it's standing up, and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. So I think just the frustration of everything is just adding up, and it just doesn't let me be creative. Like, I don't want to be creative. And then, so when it was sunny and it was beautiful and the cold, crisp air was out there, and I opened the windows and it filled the house, now it's rainy and gloomy, and I'm just like, no, I don't like it. And when it's rainy and gloomy, it puts me in a mood. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it really does affect my mood. And therefore I'm trying, you guys. I'm really trying, and I'm gonna go back into what I was just started to talk about. But it's just that there's so much going on with, you know, just everything that I just haven't felt myself. And with that being said, you know, I was like, well, pushing myself, and you know, I'm like, well, let me deep clean, and let me get the house smelling like Lysol, and just perfect, right? And it worked for about 2 seconds. 2 seconds, and then I was like, okay. And then I went downstairs to, you know, I have that little display. If you subscribe to me, or you might have seen my reel on Instagram, or my short here on YouTube, you've seen that I've already kind of played around with how I want to do the layout. And I ended up buying a little foldable stand to kind of give me more space in the booth, because of the rack I bought for the t-shirts and stuff. I needed a little bit more space, and the table just wasn't, it's just not it. I actually like to have the shelving, but I only bought one, and the reason why is because budget, number one. Number two, I've been waitlisted, so I don't know. Excuse me, I applied to other, let me take a drink of my water. And that's the other thing, is this weather is messing with my allergies. When it rains, my allergies get really bad. Thankfully, it's not as bad as it was in Texas. So I'm loving that it's, because when I was in Texas, it would literally knock me out. Like, I'm done. I couldn't even focus. At least I can get up and do stuff, you know, so it's not as bad. But I still have allergies, and that's why I kind of sound stuffy. But let's go ahead and talk about, you know, all the things. So try to make stuff for myself, thinking that would help me crochet stuff, right? Well, you know, let's be honest, crochet takes forever. It takes forever, especially if you're making a garment. You want it to be perfect so that it doesn't fall apart. And so I take my time when I'm doing things like that. And I'm actually the type of person that takes my time with a lot of things, because if it's for myself, or I'm gifting it, or I'm selling it, I don't want to be known as that business that just quickly, you know, puts it out, or has it manufactured out. I claim to be a handmade business, so I need to do these things myself. So that is what I do, okay? So I started out by making, I wanted to add more stuff to my website. As I was saying, I'm like, let me make handmade top. So I made a top, and I actually made it out of my husband's work shirts. He literally, he doesn't work for this company anymore, but he had 2 work shirts, and I love the fabric, and they were brand new. He never wore those 2 shirts, because he had like 10. But these 2 were brand new. And so he's like, do you want these shirts? They're brand new. You can use them for fabric. I was like, yes, because I love the fabric. And I'll take you over to the sewing creating room, and I'll show you what I made. Because if I do an insert, you know, honestly, I don't even know if I could do an insert, because I had, all right, let's continue with this, and then I'll tell you about the whole editing program stuff. So I made myself a top, and I was like, you know what? What if I offered these tops, because they don't have a button and they don't have a zipper, and it's actually just a pullover top, and it's quite roomy. What if I made these and offered them for sale? They didn't take long to make. I have fabric, and I actually have a lot of fabric, you guys, because when we went to France about 2 years ago, Paris, France, my husband bought a lot of fabric, and I bought some fabric. Well, he bought me the fabric, right? And I only wanted, you know, a yard or 2 of these particular fabrics that I bought, so that I could just make myself a top or whatever I was making, right? But I had to buy like 3 or 4 yards of it, because that's how they sold it. And so I have a lot of the fabric. So there was a certain freed up fabric that I have. It's a pattern, it was a lot. It was like 10 yards. I'm not even kidding. So I gave some to my granddaughter because she loves to sew. I am so happy like she loves to sew. And so she has some. And then I made my younger daughter a nice halter top with it. And I think that that's what I'm going to do with the rest of it, is make these tops. There's, you know, I'll show you it when we get to the sewing creative room. But so I made a just, you know, a sample of the Frida pattern, and then I thought, well, let me make, you know, I was thinking, let me make some other sizes so that way I can actually take these to market. And, you know, I do have other fabric, so not just the Frida fabric, but I have other fabric. And I thought, well, what if I made a sample of each one of these and took them, and then they could just order it and then I can have it. But I know a lot of people, when they shop, they want to have it right there and then. So I am thinking of doing that. I'm still going to play around with that idea, or I may just be like, you know, we have, you know, these are my samples, you can order them online. Because the other thing I don't want to do is make a ton of tops and nobody purchase them from me. And also have like some good ideas that I want to play with. So that's another thing that I'm going to be doing down the line. And then so then I was like looking through all my fabric, and I thought, you know what, once all of these other things that I have phase out and sell out, I'm going to make stuff, because I do have a lot of Tula pink fabric, really pretty designs, and I really want to take my time on what I want to make with these to offer, you know, to the, you know, offer as a product on my website or at these craft shows. Most likely, from the looks of it, it's probably going to be the website, because if I'm being completely honest, you know, I'm very transparent with you as far as budget and everything else. I know a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't discuss your money. But how are you going to know, right? And I know in everybody's journey it's different, but how are you going to know if I start a business, am I going to be successful, right? I would recommend just starting with a little bit of products if that's something you want to do, something affordable, something that isn't going to break the bank. Don't try to do everything at once. Like, you know, and I feel that I'm being waitlisted for a lot of these markets because, number one, everybody has t-shirts, everyone has sweatshirts. The only difference with me is that I embroider them. And when I've gone to these shows, they're always like a heat press transfer kind of thing on them, on the sweatshirt or t-shirt. So those are the two main things, right? Third, cups. Everybody's making cups. So guess what? We don't need another person that does that. Fourth thing, crochet. Everybody and their mother's crochet. Now, some of my things are a lot different from what's already out there. There's a couple that are the same because they're just products that I've had that I need to get rid of, right? So that's number 4. And then, so I started thinking I need to do something different in order for them to recognize that I don't just do the same thing that everyone does. And then that's why I feel like I'm being waitlisted, because it's the same stuff, right? So I've been adding different things to my website. So I used to take stickers to these events, or to the markets, but I am not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do stickers to give away or sell, because honestly, the last feedback that I got when I was doing a market is that they just throw the sticker away. They don't really, you know, care about the sticker. They would rather have something like, you know, a free bookmark, that's something that they can literally use rather than a sticker. And I get it. So I'm not doing stickers anymore. If I do stickers, it's going to be something like to put on the package itself, something to do with that nature. But as far as actually doing it, no. So there are some things that I'm going to be bringing to the website, and as I do them, as I always tell you, when I make things, I'm going to show you, which I have a few things that I'm going to show you today. But I just want to kind of come on here and talk to you about that and let you know how I've been getting, you know, I find a lot of markets, I apply to them, and then I'm getting whitelisted, and then I do reach out and I say, you know, I ask why, and they simply told me that it's because everyone, you know, they have too many people doing the same product. So I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. So I need to change my game, right? So that I can get into these markets, because I do know how to sew. I do know how to make a lot of different things. So with that being said, there's going to be, like, once I clear things out, there's going to be a revamp of things, right? There's actually some things that I have that I want to, we'll talk about it when I get to that point. So let's talk about what I've done. So you know that I've already had these pieces made and I just needed to put them together. And I actually ran out of what I needed to continue. And remember, they were these little forget-me-nots. Well, now we have little forget-me-nots. And here we have these colors here. Aren't they pretty? Like, I was looking at them from the top, you know, as they were in this little spinning container. I was like, these are pretty. I actually like these forget-me-nots. So we finished some forget-me-nots, but I ran out of the sticks to make this you know, the stick. So I need to go buy more. So I'm not going to do that till this weekend. I'm going to run over to Hobby Lobby and pick some up, and then I will get going on finishing the forget-me-nots and then adding those to the website. But those are actually going to be taken to the market. So another thing that I've been doing, and I don't know if you want me to make like a market prep video, like not actually prepping my booth, because I've already done that. And if you've seen that on my Instagram, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should, because I post there first. And I also do a lot of shorts. So when I don't do a full content video, I will do a quick short and just of my product, right? If you want to know, I mean, I am going to do tutorials, so you should be ready for that soon. I just kind of am, like I said, I've been in a funk, and it kind of put me behind on all of the other things that I want to do. I mean, I haven't even finished these bookmarks. And anyways, so there's that, right? And then, so let's talk about what I've been making. So I made the tops, and we're going to go over to the other room and I'm going to show you that. But I've also made, I was looking at my fabric because I still had quite a bit of cotton fabric, and I just talked to you about the tulip pink fabric. But when I get to make them the designs, then we'll get into that fabric. But these other fabrics that I have, I was like, what can I do with these to make them into a product, you know, without having to buy additional things with what I already have. So I have a lot of supplies, a lot to make bags, you know, a lot of different battings, all of those things. I still have a lot of it, and I've had it for a few years, you guys. Like, let me see, what year are we in? 2025. About four to 5 years I've had this like batty, and I don't talk, and they're not small, they're like big packages. So I thought, you know what, let me just, to get rid of this and move. So number one, I don't have space in this house, right? We already talked about that, and that's why I have a lot of different rooms, but the closets are jam-packed. And I'm like, you know what, let me make the product out of these things, so that way I can reduce what I have and go through what I, you know, and hopefully add them. Hopefully I can continue with the website. That's another thing, you guys. I went in the negative, in the red, because Shopify took their payment, and it went in the red. And I was like, oh my God, like, I haven't even sold anything to make up that difference. But luckily, my husband had a little bit extra, and he gave it to me, and I made a deposit. So brought me back into the black, but not a lot. So just being real, this is true. So I don't know how long I'm gonna have my website. Well, I'm hoping with the end of, you know, with doing the market, and after I kind of revise the budget a little bit, seeing how much longer I can do the website. But I don't want to close it. I put so much work into it, and I'm still trying to promote it. But it's kind of hard to promote your website and your products when you're not making anything, right, different or new, because I feel like when I'm doing a video, I'm always doing something of what I just made so that you could see it and bring people to my website. But TikTok, I used to have a TikTok account. Let's talk about TikTok for a minute before I show you what I've made. So I had a TikTok account, and I would just post. I didn't have the store, right? But I went on to my TikTok, and I was like, because Shopify connects to TikTok Shop, I was like, well, let me just try it, right? And then it said it was like suspended or some shit like that, something like that. And I was like, what? How? Right? Like, how? And so then I tried to download the app back onto my phone, and guess what? I can't. It doesn't let me download the app. Like, I can open the app, and go through there, but I can't post. I could just search. I can't post. I mean, that's just the weirdest thing ever. And I'm like, what is going on with this? So forget TikTok. We're not even going to go on TikTok. I'm just, you know, working with Instagram and YouTube for now. I've heard of some other apps, but I don't know that I want to put the time and effort in that. And because it's a lot of work, you know, it's a lot of work. And so I don't know if I want to put the time and effort in that. So right now we're just on YouTube and we're on Instagram. And I think that's how we're going to keep it. And I think my Instagram, okay. My Instagram should be connected to the Facebook. I hate connecting to Facebook as well because it's just too much work. And so, you know, to try to get marketing, and every time I try to log on to my Facebook, even though the password is right, it tells me it's not right. And I'm just like, okay, I'm sick of you. I am like so sick of Facebook. So yeah, let's go past that now. Let's just show you what I've made. That's my little rant of my business, little hiccups here. Because if you're wondering why am I not on any more, you know, social medias, well, that's why. Because TikTok, I can't download it onto my phone for whatever reason, and Facebook, I never liked Facebook. Let's just put it that way. So YouTube, here we are. And Instagram, and that's it. I'm trying to grow the Instagram, and it's, you know, it's slow. It is painfully slow in growth, but you know, any followers is better than no followers, so I appreciate that. So let's just go ahead. Let's done with the rant. Let's go ahead and show you what I have made. So I've gone through these fabrics. I'm like, what can I do with this without having to buy anything? Well, I made some pot holders. So here we are. I've already tagged them, you know, little cautionary tag and then the price tag. But here they are. This is a little green apples. So cute. And then this particular fabric, when I made this into a bowl cozy, it sold out like crazy, like immediately. And so I had a little bit, not enough to make a bowl cozy or two, but I made pot holders, and look how pretty that is. So here's the back, and then here's the front, and this is called the Little Taste of Italy. So Little Taste of Italy, and there that is. And I have my little tags that I made. So there's that, and it is batted. I do use batting on there that's heat resistant, and I double it, so it's for each piece. And then like this one, I did rows, like for, if you look at my little quilting, I did rows for like the vineyard. You know how the wine, when you go, there's rows. And then for the apples, I just kind of did slices, if you look at that. So just kind of a little different thing there. So we did that, and then I had this fabric. And then after I made these, I thought, oh my gosh, I should have used that fabric for this other project that I wanted to make. I think it would have been better. But I actually like the way that this looks. So we're just going to show you. And that is the bird and butterfly. And here's the back. And I just kind of did an X on this one just because I didn't want to take away too much from the pattern, because I actually love this pattern. Like I don't have my bag here, but I literally made a, I guess it's like a tote bag, a sewing bag. So you know, I could put like all of my, or actually a knitting crochet bag, so a project bag. So I would put all of that. It has 3 compartments. It's so nice. And I made it out of this fabric, and I just had leftovers. And so I thought, okay, let me see what I could do with that. But then after I got started making these, all the ideas started coming to me, and I thought, oh man, that would have been a good one, but it's okay. I still like that. Then I had these watermelon seeds, and I thought this is perfect for like spring, right? Or summer. And so I did the same thing with the quilting. You can't really see it, or maybe it's the same as the apples, you know, just slices. So we have that, and it's just double-sided because, again, I'm trying to use fabric that I have, materials that I have, rather than going out and trying to buy more fabric, because number 1, budget. Number 2, just trying to use inventory, or product, using materials that I have and make it into a product. So I have inventory for these markets and on my shop, and actually doing different things, right? So handmade, these are all handmade. They're not made, they're not bought from somewhere from Temu like these other people are doing, and they're not outsourced to anyone else. I'm literally cutting and making each pieces. So if you want to know how to make these, I will definitely show that to you. But my idea with like this, like, because you don't, I mean, they're pot holders, yes, and it has a little tag so you could hang them, but you could take them to like a little picnic and use it, as to put something on there or whatever. They are washable, but yeah, so they are heat resistant. Wouldn't put them in a microwave. No, these are not for microwaves. These are just that's why I have a little warning tag here. We don't want to put that in a microwave at all. It's not just your regular cotton batting. Nope, it's a heat resistant one, so you could use them to get a hot something out of, or you could place it on the table or somewhere and put a hot plate or something on here, and use it that way. So however you want to use it. But yeah, so there is that. These are what I've made, and I've got this many so far. I have a couple more of the bird ones that I need to, just close up and do the design on there. I was doing these last night, and then I was like, it started getting dark. The lighting isn't great. And so we're trying to figure out how to do that without having to buy lamps. We had in a condo that we rented in California, it was so dark because it was a condo and there was there wasn't a lot of windows. So we had bought those little lamps like you can kind of hang from the wall or the ceiling, but we didn't want to put the hole in here because the ceilings are really low and you could kind of see, but I was telling my husband, well, we could easily patch it up. But so we're trying to find an alternative way to be able to use these little hanging lamps, because those would be perfect for the sewing creative room. So that way at night I can literally sew. But let's go ahead and let's head over there so I can show you the other things that I have made. And then yeah, we can just go from there. All right, so I'll see you in the creative room. Okay, so here we are in the sewing creative room, as you can see. And this is the top I made with my husband's work shirt. Okay, and I just need to clean up the little threads and stuff, but I love this color. And so yeah, I'll show you the shirts over there in just a bit. But yeah, let's go ahead and see. We've got fabric on the floor because I was playing around with that. So here's the Frida top that I was talking about. And like I said, the lighting in here is horrible, so I'm gonna get really close, but I wanted you to see the full design. And the belt doesn't come with it because that's just the belt. It's just taking photos of how you can wear this. But it's a very comfortable, loose-fitting top, but it looks nice because you can pair it with a jean, you can pair it with slacks, a skirt, shorts, and it'll look nice. So let's get really close, and so you can see, kind of looks like Santa, but it's not. It's actually a Frida skull and flowers, and then it says Frida, it has her name on there, as you could see. Let me get really close. And then it has leaves on there. So that's the design throughout the fabric, and that's actually from France. So this is an actual fabric that we bought in France, and now I'm making them into a top, and I'm gonna, I do have, the size, and I show you on the actual, if you click on the top, it'll show you how to measure yourself so that we can get you the right size. So in order to do that is that you want to measure your full breast, your full chest area, bust area. So you want to go ahead and do that, right? And then you want to go to your waist and do the same. And then the arms, you don't really have to do, because it's unless you have big arms and you're afraid it might not fit, you can do the biceps. So that's all you have to do in order to order a top from me, is just full, the full bust area, the waist area, and then your arms if you have bigger arms and you're afraid it might not fit, and that's it. And I will whip you up one in a minute. And then so let's talk about this jean fabric right here. Do you see that? Like, I literally went to an estate sale and bought this bolt of fabric for $15, and it is a very good quality jean fabric. And the reason why I did that was because well, I'll talk to you about that in just a bit. So yeah, so this is what this is all about. And let me take you around here. As you can see, I have the other ones that I need to finish there. So here's a mess. Here's the mess that I've got going on this side, kind of hiding from you because I'm working on things, right? And I've got more stuff cut up out there. But let me show you the shirt. This is my husband's shirt. Okay, I'm gonna turn the camera around, so just give me a second here. All right. Sorry about this. Okay, so here's the shirt. See that? This is the shirt, and that's what I made the top out of. My husband's a tall guy. He's 6'5", and so I just cut the pieces out from the back, and I made a shirt. So that is this shirt here. But I just wanted to show you that that's what I did. So you could use fabric that you have as long as it's big enough, right? So it's a simple top, and yeah, and I just wanted to show you it laying out flat so you could kind of see how, you know, when it's on, it looks really, really nice. But laying out flat, you can kind of see how that looks. And then you could you see it on the dress form here. And again, it's just a really nice top. Now we're back in the office because the lighting is much better. But as you could see that, you know, where I used my husband's shirt to make that top, and then we have the Frida top that I still have a lot of fabric. And initially I was like, well, I'll make pouches out of them, but they're, you know, I thought about it and it was white. It's a white fabric. I don't know that you want to use that as a pouch, right? And I was thinking about all these different, you know, things in my mind of what I can make with that fabric. And I thought, you know what? Let me just make a simple top, because everybody buys clothes, right? Everybody's gonna buy clothes, so why not make something that's different? Not everybody has that fabric because it came from France. So, you know, why not? Why not just try and see what happens? And that's the good thing about, you know, you just try. And then if no one buys it, I'll just put a tag in there that has the sizing and everything and donate it to Goodwill. I mean, right? What else can I do? So that's the one thing about being able to sew and make things, is that you can do those things. But so let's get back to the jean fabric. So I'm only 5 feet tall, and it's hard for me to find really good jeans that fit me, you know, from the waist to, you know, either they're really long, or they fit good around the waist, but then they're really, you know, kind of weird fitting around the hip area or the legs. So let's talk about this. I like White House Black Market jeans because they fit perfect. However, I don't have $100 to go buy jeans. So I was like, well, I went to the fabric store. There's a fabric store here in Oregon, and they have jean material. And I thought, okay, let me see how much I need to be able to buy this. Well, it's going to cost me about $60 minimum, depending on the quality of jean I get, right? So it just depends. So I was like, let me just check estate sales. I don't know why. I was just like, maybe I'll be lucky. And I was looking at estate sales, and I saw that long thing there, right? And I saw a sewing machine, and then I was like, wait a minute, let me go back. So I looked at the picture and I enlarged it, and then I was like, that's a bolt of fabric. I need to go to this estate sale. Well, this estate sale was not very far. It was in Portland, but not far. And I've never been to this side of Portland, but it was super nice. So let's talk about that. So I get there. The first thing I do is I go for this room where I want to find this fabric. And this lady was looking at it. So I was like pretending to look at the other things there, you know, as you would. And then she walked away, and I went over there and I grabbed it. And this other lady started laughing. And she's like, that's actually a good buy for that fabric. And I'm like, I know, it's denim, and it's very good denim. It's not the stretchy that's gonna, you know, it's the, you know, if you remember the 501 Levi jeans where they were really good quality, and they didn't get out of shape when you washed them like the Levi's they have nowadays. That's the kind of jean it is. It's very good. It's very, it's just, and I was like, $15, I'm not even going to argue with that. I'm not even going to wait until Saturday. I went on a Friday by myself. And mind you, I don't like to go to estate sales by myself, but I went by myself. And I woke up early that morning so that I can make sure my chores were done here in the house, right? Because I don't like to leave the house, you know, at all unless it's, I mean, let me rephrase that. I don't like to go anywhere unless my house is clean and everything's organized, because I never know how long I'm going to be out there, and I don't want to come back and have to clean and do all that. So usually my house is clean, but you know, like vacuum, sweep, stuff like that. But this was a day that, you know, Fridays are usually my like deep clean bathrooms type of day. Well, I made sure I started Thursday night, finished early Friday morning, and then right at 10 o'clock when they opened. Another one thing I noticed here in Oregon is that their estate sales, they start at 10. I was just like, what in the world? Like in Texas, they were like at 9 a.m., 8 a.m., some were even at 7 a.m. And I was just like, this is crazy. But anyways, 10 a.m. I got there like at 10:20 because I had to take the dog out, make sure he did his business. So I took the dog out, went to the estate sale, got there, and like I said, that lady was going to get it and then left it. But let me tell you the funny thing. When I got it, that lady came back. And I guess she was going to get it, but she saw it was gone because I had it. And I took it over to the whole table, and I told the guy, I'm going to leave this here because I don't want to walk around. The bowl, you see how big it is. It was taller than me. I'm like, I cannot walk around with this bolt of fabric because I want to look at what other things they had. Number one, their pricing was excellent. I mean, it was a true estate sale pricing. So I wanted to look at what else they had. I didn't buy anything else, or did I? No, I didn't. I just bought that. But I was looking for other things that I can turn into a product. But I didn't see anything else, so I only bought that. And I cannot wait to make my jeans, because now I'll be able to make them the way that I want to, because I don't like skinny jeans. I have skinny jeans because that's what I have, because that was the only thing I could buy, right? I've not bought White House Black Market in a while because I had, you know, I was like, before I was working and I was thinner and I was able, you know, to buy them, and then I didn't fit them anymore. And so then I had to get rid of them, and I was hoping to lose the weight and get into them. I actually held on them for a couple years, but there was a whole situation behind that. So let's move on. So now I'm like, you know what? I know how to sew. Why not just make my own jeans? But when I was making my dress, my little sewing machine, you saw, and it's a tiny little machine. She doesn't have the manpower to really go through really thick seams. So I'm going to have to put my jean making on hold for a little bit. But I am going to make me some other pants that I know my machine can go through, right? And be okay with it. Because yeah, I noticed that when I was making even making like this here, the little tab, so this has 4 pieces to it, right? It has 2 pieces of batting and 2 pieces of fabric, and then this is folded in half. But it had a little bit of a struggle to go through here, but I made it happen. So with that, I know that if I make jeans, because of all of the bulkiness of the different sections of the seaming, when we put it together, like I'll be able to form the pant, but to put like the waistband in and the belt loops in and the fly front, all of those things, and the pockets, it's going to struggle. So we're going to put the jean making on hold for a little bit. Anyways, it should be getting warm and I don't really need to be wearing jeans. So, or, you know, I even thought of making a denim skirt, but even that, because of the waistband and all of that, it's not going to be able to get through that. I mean, it probably can, but it's going to struggle, and it might damage my machine. So I'd rather have a machine than not have a machine. So I'm gonna wait on that. And so what I'm gonna do is just, you know, make something else, make some different types of pants, and I have material for that. So we'll just do that. And I do have jeans. I ended up, you know, years back, I liked the Lucky brand, and my gosh, I forgot the other brand. But anyway, there's two brands that I have that I like, but I don't like them because they're skinny jeans, and I don't like I don't like anything snug like that on me. Like if it's workout pants, that's a different thing, because or leggings, those are different, right? But jeans, I can't stand I feel suffocated. So that's why you don't see me in jeans a lot or pants, because number one, I'm at home, I have my pets, I'm always cleaning or doing something, and I don't want to mess it up. Even my tops, like my t-shirts, get stuck on the cutting board because it has a trim on the side and it's nailed in, and I think the nails are popping out or something. But anyway, my tops get snagged on there, and then there's snag marks on my t-shirts. That's why I'm always wearing t-shirts, because of that. Because I'm always cleaning, cooking, or doing something, and then I mess it up. So I don't want to wear something nice to just mess it up. So anyway, so that's the whole reason why I bought the whole bolt of jeans, and that whole story just to tell you that. But I just wanted to let you know, like, I just prefer, like, you know, back in the day, the 501 jeans, if you know, you know, the button fly, those were the perfect jeans. They were comfortable. They were good jean fabric. Now, when you wash jeans, like, there's some jeans I have that when I was working, I paid like $100 for. And I wash them in delicate, and I hang them to dry. Tell me why they're already, like, after their second wash, they were already, like, getting deformed. Like, I'm like, really? For this? You know, so now I don't want to spend that much money. And, you know, I do go thrifting, and I will try to find jeans that I think might fit me. But most part, they're always skinny jeans, and I don't want skinny jeans. So I'd rather make mine when I can. There is a sewing machine that I do want, that, you know, later when I get money, I will buy. That is a workhorse, and that will make it. So let me back up a little bit from when I started my sewing machine sewing journey. I bought that little machine that you see because I only wanted to make garments, right? But I didn't know that some machines don't have the power to go through, like, thick seams, meaning my little machine. So when I went to look at machines, I was looking at a Bernina, which was all metal, which could have done the job, will do the job, to go through seams effortlessly, right? This machine is more plasticky. It's a baby lock, Rachel. It's good for, like, these kind of things, but again, it did struggle to even do that, to do this. So not that much of a struggle, but it struggled. So here's my thing. When I was looking, I wanted a Bernina, and then it was a refurbished Bernina, but I wanted it. And the lady was like, oh, you should get Baby Lock. And I did some research, and Baby Lock is a good brand, but it's all plastic, and she struggles. So then my husband went back and bought me Destiny. And you remember Destiny, she was a big girl. She's a big machine. I loved working with her, and she had an embroidery unit, a scanning unit. She had all the things, everything. But I didn't really use all that other stuff. I just needed a sewing machine. Now, going from the Destiny back to the Rachel, the whole workspace makes a difference. Because I find myself that Rachel is good for small projects, but not really sewing big things. Like when I was finishing my dress, I kind of had to maneuver everything around. Luckily, I have a big sewing table, so that helps. But so he bought me that Destiny. I used it, but even Destiny struggled to go through thick seams. So then I ended up buying the 1950 Singer because it's metal, and that did the job. It was perfect. But I found myself not using it. It was just a decor, so it was sitting there. And then I got the Juki for more industrial, right? So I was making handbags and wallets, thinking that those things would sell at these markets, and they didn't. They weren't a good hit. Other things that I made handmade without using that machine were a hit. So that was why, and because it was big, right? It had its own table. It was heavy. And this house doesn't have the space for something like that. Not even for Destiny, because Destiny had her luggage. She had 2 big luggages and she had a lot of things. So when we had the estate sale before we moved here, I sold all those machines. And so I no longer have them. So I only have the Rachel and that big 6 needle baby lock array embroidery machine, which I do have up for sale. But anyways, all that to say is that I need a sewing machine that actually can go through thick seams, that's metal. So I do have my eye on one. I did find one that near the fabric store here in Oregon. There's a sewing machine store next to it, and they had this one, and actually it's one that was traded in because they upgraded to a newer model of that same brand. But when I researched and found that same thing, that same machine, I found it brand new for only, I think, like $200 more. So although the one that was traded in has a little bit more things that come with it, I felt like I'd rather buy a brand new one than a one that was traded in, because I don't know what was going, I don't know what's going on with that. So when I can, who knows when that's going to be, I'm going to buy that machine. And the good thing is that it's under $2,000. So I'm not spending like, I think my husband paid like $6,000 for the baby lock array. Not the baby lock array, the Destiny. And then I only paid a few $100s for Rachel, because I didn't want to spend a lot when I was only making garments for myself and my daughter. Like, I wasn't making things to sell. That just happened. It just happened. And then, when I had a job, so I wasn't really, pushing that. Had I done that, I think my business would be at a different point right now. But because I didn't really do that, I didn't really market myself, I didn't really do craft shows then. Honestly, I didn't even know how to, focus. I didn't even know where to look for to be a vendor at a craft show. I'm just going to be honest. When I started sewing, it wasn't until later that I started doing more research that I found, oh, well, let me apply to this. And then I didn't know, like, I mean, you never know, because of scammers and, everything things will look legit and then it's really not. So do your research whenever you're going to do markets. But we'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, so that is what I have for you today. I can keep going and going and going, but it's already going to be 4 o'clock and I need to take my dog out. And I need to go check on my rabbits because they need their dinner. And I need to go cut up their veggies and give it to them. So yeah, I got things to do. But yeah, so anyway, that is what I've been up to. If you're interested in learning more on if you want tutorials on specific things, just leave me a comment below and I will make that time to make that tutorial. Like I said, I am going to make tutorials, and I've been telling you that on focus. I don't know what's going on with this camera. Okay, so I have been, let me try not to move, okay? I have said that I'm going to do tutorials, and I am. I just am waiting to have better lighting because, as you saw in the sewing creative room, it's really dark. And you're not going to be able to see a lot of things I'm doing because of the angles I have to put the camera in. So, as soon as we can get that whole hanging lamp situation resolved, which I think we're going to the hardware store this weekend to figure out what we can use in the ceiling without making a hole to hang the light over that area so that you can see what I'm... Oh my gosh, this camera. It's doing weird things. Okay, so that you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully we can get that solved. If we get that resolved this weekend, you will get a tutorial. You will get your first tutorial from me for this year, because there are tutorials on my channel, but they're for different things. So if there's a specific thing you want to know, whether it's clothing or pot holders or tote bags or makeup bags or whatever, just go ahead and leave it in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to get that done for you. And yeah, I hope you have a great weekend, because today is Friday. I do know that. I do know that it's Friday. I just didn't know what date it was. Now we know. So in 2 more weeks, we have that big show. I cannot wait to go. But yeah, so that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. And I just want to say before I go, thank you so much to my new subscribers. I saw I got a couple more Thank you so much. It means a whole lot to me that you are here. Let me know what it is that you are interested in so that I can make those specific videos for you. So again, if it's clothing, if you want to know how to make clothing, or if you want to make projects, whatever it is, that way I can make more of those videos rather than the ones that I'm doing now. Or if you like these ones, then just hit that thumbs up and I appreciate it. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.